Great. And it's so wonderful when the everyday people can say, you know what, the world may not know my name, and when I walk down the street, nobody asks me for an autograph, but I make a difference every day that I wake up, and that's the purpose of this show, which is called "Your Gift Will Make Room for You" with Cheryle T. Ricks, and it's something about the everyday people that nobody knows, nobody even heard of, that is making life better for so many people, but nobody ever acknowledged it. We get up, we do what we do, we use the gifts, talents, and abilities that we have. And people like, okay, that's nice to the people looking at us doing it, but the people that actually benefit from what we do, they the ones like, hey, you need to be a household name. People need to know who you are. You do need to grow up, blow up and just, make it big. But, we all start where we start, and we all have humble beginnings, and sometimes we look at the successful people who have the fame, the fortune, and many of us who do what we do because we have a heart to do it, we're not seeking fame and fortune.
Right.
We just want to make a difference. We want to do what we enjoy doing, and we want to make sure that whatever it is that God has called us to give, we're going to give it to whoever those people are. And so when I was thinking about, my podcast show, I said, I know a lot of amazing entrepreneurs and people who are doing great things. And like I said earlier, when I first talked to you and you said that, my family wouldn't let me quit, my God wouldn't let me quit, and I wasn't going to let me quit. And that's the kind of stick-to-itiveness we need, especially when you're working on a dream and you recognize that God has given you something unique and different. Now, like, there's a lot of people that do some of the things that you do, but they're not going to do it the way you do it because they're not you.
Right.
We all are one of a kind. And when we just shine, where we are doing what we do, it just makes the world better. So, I'm just so excited to have you. And let me just tell people who you are.
All right.
Your name is Kiara Heredia.
Heredia.
Heredia. So beautiful. I always mess up the beautiful names. And you having a wonderful business, and you provide a wonderful service. And this show is all about, God making room for our gift, letting our gifts make room for us and bring us before great men. And so I just would like for you to share some, what your business is, what it is that you do, and how you make a difference every day doing it.
Okay, so my business is pretty much is to help you brand for your business, on your personal side is just to give you gifts. I do embroidery, printed apparel, and another method I use is sublimation. Is different methods. As far as helping people, like for people that are starting their business, you have to promote your business some type of way. So you have to show it. So I have what I call the walking billboard hoodie or shirt. It'll have your logo on the front, and then it'll have all your business info on the back. Because no one's gonna know what you do if you don't wear it or show it yourself. Okay.
Great. Yeah, so you help people with advertising and branding their businesses and
or whatever organization that they have. I actually a big company around here that focuses on charity work and helping kids. B360 of Baltimore.
Okay.
I actually just did merchandise for them, and what they focus on is changing the stigma of dirt bikes and including STEM in it. So I just did a bunch of merchandise for them that they are, to put the word out there for them as well. And that was awesome. What's funny is my family actually helped me do that order because the last minute. And then when B360 was on the news, I was getting a text, "Hey, this your stuff. Your stuff's on the news." And I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "Yeah." But I didn't know that they were having a press conference on TV, and it just so happened it was. So they were all very excited about that.
And see, it's your business and your gift is not just to make money, but to help people fulfill the dream and purpose that God has given them. And see, that's how you're going to be successful. That's how, you just know that you're doing the right thing. One, it fulfills you, and because you're making a difference when you help all these different organizations and businesses. It's like everybody can chase a dollar. Give me more money, give me more money, give me more money. But when you pay, when you seek after purpose and making a difference, that's when life is really good. That's when the blessings starting to flow financially and otherwise, because every blessing is not financial.
Right.
And being an entrepreneur, sometimes the money don't flow as fast as the bills come in.
Exactly.
But you keep hanging in there. And that's the other thing too, working for God, is that God is our source. If we're looking for the business to do it, we're looking for the job to do it, we're looking for other things to do it, they are resources God can use to do it. But we always have to be mindful that God is the source for everything we need. So even if it's not coming in the mail with a check or, a PayPal invoice, God is still going to work that thing out. And not to mention, it's not always coming back as money. It's going to come back as favor. Like somebody probably mentioned your name to that organization that you just did that big order for. They said, "Oh, you got to get with Kiara. Kiara, she'll hook you up. She'll get it right there." And I know it's last minute, but she don't do this just for money. She do it because she want to make a difference. And somebody put your name out there so you can get that big order. Now they on the news doing what they doing, wearing your stuff. So blessings can come all kinds of ways, all kinds of ways.
I actually, for that company, I actually know the owner. We actually went to high school together.
Wow.
And of course, she could have used anyone else to do her merchandise and all, because I think they have used other people, but they were like, no, let's, but no, it is good to keep in touch with people. Like, I probably see her once in a while, but the fact that I'm still on her mind, and is pretty cool. And then what's also interesting, like, I love what I do, and I a few people that are in the same industry as me, like once in a while I'll get messages like, hey, they see that I'm growing in something, and they'll ask and get input and all. And it's the fact of like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm just doing what I do, but they're watching, and people actually are intrigued by what I'm doing and feel like I am, a good role model for them. Like I said, for me, I'm just like, I just enjoy what I do. So it's always nice to hear that. Like, I'll get the message and be like, yeah, I've been watching you for a while. I like everything. And I'm just like, oh, well, thank you.
But it's so funny though, because we're just us doing what we do, and we don't recognize how valuable it is and how much of a difference it makes. And that's the whole purpose of why I wanted to do this show, because we just do us.
Right.
We ain't nothing special to ourselves, because we have us and what we do all the time. It's the people that don't have what we have, the people that can't do what we do. Those are the ones say, you adding value, girl. You really making a difference. I admire you. You getting that thing in. And it's so important that we recognize, not to get the big head and toot our own horn and all that stuff, but to actually recognize the value it makes and the difference it's having in the communities. Because we are who we are, and we're not special to us because we have us all the time and we just regular people. We tend to think that, what I do, it ain't all that, and we don't even ask for money sometimes. Or if we ask for money, it's a very low price because we value it here where other people value it there. And we compete with them about how they feel about the value we add. Like, oh, girl, just let me tip you. Oh, my goodness, you got to charge me more than that.
Yeah, I've gotten that. I'm just like, to me, I feel like I weighed everything in, but okay, and then I was like, I'll take that into consideration, going forward.
Yeah. And see, that's the other thing too. Just because we're not special to ourselves, we need to recognize that we do special things being who we are. And I think a lot of people want to be a carbon copy of somebody they admire. But what God wants all of us to do is be the one and only us. and do what only we can do. And like I said, there's a lot of people that do some of the things in you, but they're not you, and they're not going to do it the way you do it. They're not going to do it with the style you do it. They're not going to do it with the heart you do it. They're not going to have the same impact because they're not you.
Right.
And helping people recognize that when God says in his word that your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men, it doesn't mean that when he brings you before great men, then you get all puffed up and I'm all suchy much and I'm the one. You don't have to do that. First of all, you're not even gonna get blessings when you like that. You got to be humble, and you can't toot your own horn. You want other people to talk about you, but you don't want to be grandiose and have a big head yourself.
Exactly. Yep.
So when you realize the difference that you was making in the community and all the ways that you was adding value, how did it grow you? How did it make you see that, oh my goodness, I do great stuff. I'm really doing some unique things that people really appreciate?
For me, I don't feel like it necessarily changed me. It's a good feeling, I would say for me. I'm not going to change how I still do how I run my business, how I do things. I'm going to still be genuinely me because this is what drew you to me in the first place.
Right.
So why? Because now I got people following me, care what I do. Why would I change who I am? I'm still going to be me, and
That is so wonderful, and I'm glad you said it that way, because some people think that if you have success and people do know what you know who you are and what you do, they automatically equate that, well, I'm important, I'm more special, I'm better than you got to pay whatever you was paying before, now you got to pay 20 times more because people know who I am. And I feel like those kinds of people are really not secure in who they are, and they don't know themselves, and they're trying to get their value and worth from popularity or fame or fortune or notoriety. And there's it's the humble people that really get the blessings. And it looked like the people that's got the big head and tooting their own horn look like they doing really good, but we know what the Bible says about that. You eventually gonna get brought back down because you got the wrong attitude.
Exactly.
But when did you decide that the gift, talents, and abilities that God gave you, you could monetize and actually get paid for it?
What's funny is, so Dreamers was not supposed to be a custom apparel company for everyone else. The goal was really, it was a conversation between me and my sister about making a clothing brand for our kids, so they weren't wearing everything everyone else is wearing, and it just kind of went a whole different direction. And that's pretty much how Dreamers came about. And it really came from doing something for my son's birthday. For his third birthday, I drew a design for him, and I saw how the process was done. I was like, oh, I'm gonna learn how to do this. And I researched it, and and it just went. I just kept growing and growing in different ways. I would take on one step, learn how to do one way. I was like, okay, but how can I prove this? And it just kept going from there.
So even before, isn't it amazing? Because, we all seeking to find our purpose and the thing that God has called us to do. And people can say, I want to know my purpose. I want to know my purpose. So when did you recognize that this thing that God was teaching you to do was actually the thing he called you to do, and like now you perfecting it?
I would say probably maybe like a year in of doing it, I was genuinely happy with what I was doing, and I love getting the reactions of people when I gave them whatever item they might have ordered. And it was just, and at that time I was still working at my job, so it wasn't about the money for me. It was just, I genuinely liked the reactions, and it was just, like I said, I loved the impact that just, it could have been a little t-shirt saying I love you or whatever, something, or having the family member on it, and the happiness behind it. It was just like, okay, I like this, because I actually went to school for computer science, and it was just, I never fully pursued that, but thinking back now, I would not have been happy sitting behind a desk the whole time, doing that. Whereas now, like, I get to interact with different people from all different aspects of life and, make them happy. For me, it could, for me, to them, it doesn't seem like anything big, but once they get it, they're just like, and I like that. And
Wow.
I've seen people do happy dances when they've gotten their stuff, and I'm just like, yes, that's exactly why I do what I do.
That is so amazing. When I saw what you created for me, I was so happy. And this is my t-shirt she created. It says, "My sisters make me better." High exclamation point. And when I saw that, I mean, it was one thing to have a vision for it. It was one thing to like have it in my mind, but then to see when you created it. And it wasn't like, okay, I'll just throw it together for you. How do you want? Do you want it in this letter? Do you want it in this font? Do you want? I'm like, wow, so you was creating exactly what I wanted when it was just a vision in my head. So when I wear this shirt, my sisters make me better. Like, okay, what is that all about? Like, what do you mean your sisters make you better? Because,
Right.
my organization it's the Women Empowerment Circle LLC, and it's all about sisterhood and women connecting with other women to help us get what we need for us and help us support and encourage and grow together. So just having
Right.
one of your branding items, my t-shirt, my sisters make me better, that speaks volume. And it's advertising. Like,
Right.
what does that message mean on your shirt? Like, tell me more,
Right.
and that's what it does. And people don't recognize that the things that God created us to do are the things that make the world better when we come into it. If the world didn't have you, if the world didn't have me, if the world didn't have all the other people that's using their gift, talents, and ability, the world would lack a lot of things. And, we recently had African American month, for the month of February. And we go into our history around slavery and civil rights and things like that. But it was so many things that advertised what the world would be like if there were no Black people.
Right.
It would be so many things missing that make our life so much better. And it's like, what would happen if we never showed up on planet Earth? What happens once we no longer gone? What legacy are we going to leave if we don't do the thing we were created to do? And I'm just so glad you said yes to God. Like, you know what? I just got this idea to create this thing for my kids. And then all of a sudden it grew into what I was called to do. And it's that easy. It's that easy. So when you think about how your services have evolved and all the new things that you've learned to do and all the new ways that you add value to the people that you service, did you have any idea it was going to grow like it was? I know there were times when you was like, you know what, I don't know that if I can just take that leap and leave my job and go do this. So how did you go from, working your 9 to 5 to doing this exclusively?
So I knew at some point I wanted to leave my job, but in the back of my mind, I was always, really concerned about it because, there were times when business was slow, like you said, bills and being an entrepreneur. But once I got to the point for my job where I was no longer happy going in, and it's been something I had been talking about it for a while. That I needed to leave. I was going to leave, but I knew it was never the right time. But a lot of changes were going on with my son and schedule wise, and I was like, it's fine. Like, the year came about, it was like, this is my time. And has it been easy the whole way through? No, but it's still really persevering. I'm going to keep doing it because this is my calling. This is what I'm meant to do. I enjoy it. I'm genuinely happy. I get more time with my son, which was always which was one of the main goals for me. I get to spend more time with my family. I'm not stressing, worrying about doing stuff for someone else. And so it's,
there's a lot of people that are working jobs that they hate just so they can pay a bill. And I've learned that there's more to life than just paying a bill. And then when
Exactly.
you live your life to pay bills and buy stuff, you live in a real empty life. And it's not fulfilling. It's really miserable because every day you're going to do something that you don't like. It doesn't fulfill you. And usually doing it with people who don't really fit, who you want to be around. And it takes a lot of faith and a lot of trust in the plan that God has for you to take that leap. And it's so important when people realize, you know what, I really need to do it. I mean, I know I'm going to have these bills, but I need to get to a place with my relationship with God where I know that what he says in his word is true.
Right.
He will provide all of our needs according to his riches and glory, not our paychecks, not our social security, not our disability, not our businesses, but him. And when we can get to that place, we just freed up to create. We're free up to do what God has called to do without that burden of how I'm going to pay my bills, interfering with the creativity and the joy and the fulfillment, because it really messes you up when you just focus on, oh man, I can't pay my bills.
See, and for me right now, like I am at a tough situation right now because it has its slow moments, and I learned last year around tax time this is when it slowed up for the business, and I've had the thought process of, do I need to go back? Then it's just like, no, you're going. I pray on it, and I still have my house, I still have my car, I haven't lost anything, and I'm like, God, at the end of the day, God's gonna make a way, and both my parents are behind me 100%, and I've been still doing it, and it's just making it.
That is just so amazing. And people out there that are struggling with, do I do what I'm called to do, or do I hold on this job to pay my bills? And they need to hear that the struggle is real, but it's real because we put in the confidence in the wrong things. If we put our confidence back in God and say, you know what? I read it in God's word. I know the nature of God. I know the character of God. He said it. He's going to take care of my every need. And it's like when we can get confident in God and not confident in ourselves or other people or this world system, then we can really have the best of all of God. But just know, my sister, your blessings are flowing now, and all you got to do is continue to receive it. And one of the other things that I was looking at, there are so many. I've had my business for quite a while now, and I have yet to market it, to really let people know what I do. It's like having a conversation everywhere you go, like, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, I do this. Oh, well, what do you do? I do. It's like, oh, no, I'm looking for somebody to do that for me. Oh my goodness, what's your contact information? If we don't open our mouths and let people know what we do and what benefit that we offer, then they won't patronize us. We can't go place. I mean, where do we go? We go to a movie and we see something that's really good and the family loved it. Like, oh, y'all gotta go see that movie. We go to a restaurant or we go to a store. Oh, I mean, they got a nice side. Oh, I got that.
Exactly.
We got to advertise what God has given us, like we advertise what God has given other people.
Right.
So we got to keep our stuff on our
right.
list.
And we usually definitely drop the ball on that. And that's why, like, when I go out, I typically, it doesn't always have Dreamers on, but it'll probably have my son's clothing brand on, what my sister do, but I make all of it. So I'm always branding for me anyway, because then I'll be like, well, where'd you get that done at? Well, I can always say, well, this is what I actually did. So for me, it works, and everyone doesn't have that benefit, but then it's like, but I can help you with it. So for me, it works. Like, for instance, I went out on the boat with my father yesterday fishing. He had on the hoodie that I made. I just happened to have on my son's brand. We didn't talk about it or nothing. It just always how it works out. I could go over to my sisters or my moms. They will always end up having on something that I made. And it just so happens because, like, they are always my trial. Like, if I'm trying something new, here. So they have plenty of stuff. So it's very beneficial. And it's just always cool. It's like, oh, you got Dreamer stuff on today. And it's not something we discussed. It just happens that way. Even some of my friends, I might end up out with them. We're going out. They might just happen to have on my son's brand stuff or mine. And it's not, we say, hey, I need you to wear this so we can take a picture. No, it's just a general support and they like it. And it just so happens they have it on.
But isn't that amazing
It
that
is.
you got so much support? And how many stories have you heard where other entrepreneurs and the people in their circle don't, their families,
Right.
they don't support them, they don't buy them, and if they do buy, like, can yes cost too much? You need to discount that, or
Yeah.
they try to make you feel like your stuff ain't all worth that, but they'll pay top brand for somebody they don't even know
Exactly.
just to wear their label. And so, how is it that you're so blessed that your family and your friends are like, you know what? I'm going to support you. What was it about you that your family and friends said, girl, I got you. Go ahead. Give me that stuff.
I can just say that I'm just blessed that way. The people that God put in my life, that's just the kind of personalities and all that they have. And not, like you said, not everyone can say that, but my circle, they are amazing in every way that they are.
That is wonderful. With God on your side and your family and friends on your side, there ain't no way you can fail. I mean,
Right.
you got all the box checks. You got God, you got the family, got the friends. It's like, wow,
Right.
that is so amazing. So with you doing the thing that you called to do, how does the joy of it come out in other areas of your life? About how you feel about yourself, knowing that you're making a difference in so many people. How does it help you feel good about you?
For me, it makes me feel like really good. Like I like seeing, like I said, I like seeing the joy when people get their items from me. For me, when I actually do an order, I actually will sit. It's not just, oh, because I need the money. I actually take the time. Hey, what do you, kind of what do you have in mind? Is there, because even with you, I asked, what kind of font look you had? We went through the whole thing. You just knew what you wanted it to say. You knew your vision. And for me, is bringing it to life. And then when you see the ideas of what we come up with, when you're happy with it, that's what matters. And and then I can sit back like, yep, I did that, and it's just the little things. Like my mom, I surprised her with a tumbler cup, because I'm learning how to do those. So I made this one for myself. I'm a
Oh, it's
Libra.
lovely.
But I made one of my mom's favorite colors, purple, and hers had like glitter around it or whatever. And I knew what time she had to be to work. So it's the first cup I did. I said, all right, I gotta hurry up and get this done before she go to work. And I showed up at her house. As soon as I gave it to her, she was like, ooh, she washed that cup out so fast and took it to work because it had her name on it, had her favorite colors, and it's that happiness that I could give whoever in that moment. I love it.
Wow. That is so beautiful. And it's like we as people, we're so busy trying to get that fulfillment that you got from what you do, what you get from what you do, from people, things, situations, products, perks, jewelry, clothes, cars, stuff, notoriety. We're trying to get all that stuff from places that can't give it to you.
Right.
And if we could just get to the place where I know what I'm good at, I know what I enjoy doing, and then give ourselves permission to do it. Don't have this long, drawn out 10-year conversation that says, you know what? Yeah, I know I'm good at that, and I know I should be doing that, but I really need to be doing this because I got to do this. I can't be putting all my energy over there. And
Yeah.
it's an empty life when people are just talking themselves out of the thing that's really going to fulfill them. And just, the whole purpose of this show is to help people know that God has blessed all of us with gifts, talents, and abilities.
Yes.
And all of them can be monetized for some kind of income. And
Yes. Excuse me. I have like a lot of friends that they have businesses. They haven't taken the step that I have yet. But when I did, they were like, they're proud, they're proud of me, they're excited for me. And if I seem like I've fallen back, I have one he's not my brother, but I call him my brother because we grew up together and we're best friends. Like if I don't post something, he'll text me, "What I tell you?" Like you need to post every day. People can't buy something that they don't see, and like he's on it, or like he's a DJ, so when he's not posting or he's not doing what he's supposed to, we hold each other accountable. And like he's actually, so I made this shirt that says my friend's business is my business. And it was a conversation between me and him. I was at his house, we were just talking, and we always talk business. We just talk in general. He was like, "That's what you need," he was like, "That's a good saying." So he didn't realize that I had put on the shirt and put it together. I put the font. So then on the back of the shirt, it has my business info. It has my older sister. She's a dog groomer. It has my other friend. She does microblading. It had my son's clothing brand. Just all our friends and their services and what they do.
Wow.
And when I posted that, people were like, this shirt is amazing. Like, and I didn't make it just for my friends per se. The goal behind, because I like the thought process behind it. Because we'll promote our friends, we'll promote, for everyone else. But at the end of the day, like it says, my friend's business is my business. My family won't grow if you don't discuss. So I've had other people get it with their friends' business info, and it was just a cool little thing. And this, stuff like this comes just from the support and just from talking to people in general.
But you know what? One of the other things that I'm admiring about you is that you just don't think about the idea, but you follow through and you create the idea. And that's a gift, talent, and ability as in itself, because some people can have the idea, but they won't move on it. They're like, in case in point myself, I wrote this poem years ago. I was 23 years old. I'm going on 64 today. And then I actually wrote a sequel to the poem right after I wrote that first one. And I've been meeting all kinds of wonderful people, and they tell me they songwriters and they do this. I was like, you know what? I have these two poems that I would like to create a song with. And so they just got busy. So finally I said, you know what? Today is the day. I'm going on Fivers.com and I'm going to find some people that do songwriting and that can do songs out of poems, and I'm going to find somebody. So I actually found somebody to do it. They're going to make the song. They're going to create the song. They're going to sing the song, and they're going to give it to me. Nice. And they actually only charging me $180, and they're going to have it to me sometime tomorrow. So it's like a 5-day thing. And I'm just really excited because that was a vision that I had all those years ago. And now it's finally happening. And someone like everything that I have a vision for, I'm now doing it. And it's like you just decide, I'm going to do it. Don't give yourself these excuses. Don't talk about you don't know how, you don't know who, you don't know, have the money. Do your due diligence. Start asking questions. Go search. You go on Fivers.com and you talk to people in your network, other people you meet along the way. Well, I'm trying to figure out, I do that, or so-and-so does that. And it's so important to keep your village growing, keep your network growing, and just making sure that you're adding new people. Because one of the things that I realized about life is all your old needs, those people that you've always had in your life, they met the old needs. The new needs you have is going to be answered and solved by the people that you meet now. And if you don't let new people in, you just stay stagnant and you never get what you need, Exactly. So how did that help you when you realized that I need to keep meeting people, letting people know what I do, and actually, helping other people that supporting them?
I would say it has helped because I have met people. For me, I think I've met more people in my industry, and we're able to bounce ideas off each other, improve on what we're working on. And connection wise, it also helps it helps dreamers grow overall. I would say that's really what it boils down to. Like, it's because for me, honestly, I'm not really a big talker.
You're doing good though.
So when I do get out and meet people, and when we do start talking, and like you said, you build those new relationships. You learn like you said, it is simple conversation. Oh, so you do business cards? Yeah. I need, it's just quick talks and you learn and you can build nice relationships. You're, like you said, it's about growing your network, which is very important in this time.
We will be right back after this message.
Hello, this is Cheryl T. Ricks. I will be hosting a new podcast show called Your Gifts Will Make Room for You. If you'd like to be a part of this amazing project, please reach out to me at 443-447-7267. Or you may email me at thewomenempowermentcircle@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
Then let me ask you a question. Growing your network is easy when you feel comfortable doing it. But how did you get to be comfortable doing it? It probably was a time in your life where, no, I'm kind of like in the background. I don't say much. I'm not a talker. How did you get from that person to this person?
So I'll be honest, I'm probably still not fully comfortable in it. I know for me, I could do way better. But when I talk about business though, I get excited and I get happy about it. So once the ice is broken, it's easier. It's me stepping out of my comfort zone. That's always the thing. But I'm usually, like, if I do go out, I'm usually with someone that is kind of an icebreaker, so it kind of helps. I am getting better with it. It's just I've always been an introvert, so opening up more is tough. But I think this is actually my job. Actually, probably helped with this. So I was a bank teller, so I had to talk to everyone. Well, because I have to talk and have a conversation with you, I'm going to eventually step out of my zone. So I will say it has helped me to be able to talk more rather than be just, because I'm more the type that I'm going to lay back and observe. But for what I had to do, it helped me to be able to talk more.
So isn't it amazing how your job as a bank teller was preparing you for the thing God called you to do?
Yep.
I tell you, we think that okay.
Sorry.
I'm telling you, it's like we think that what we do is just something we do. What we don't realize, God is working it all out for our good. He's showing us how this is going to help that, that's going to help this, and all those things we learn. We're being prepared, and then we're being propelled to the thing He's called us to do. And it's all the process. None of us got here in one step. It was right. A lot of steps we had to take to get here. It was a whole lot of evolutions of who we were into who we are now. It's like, I used to be this. I used to not be that. And so now we're recognizing like, wow, I'm not the person I used to be. I do more things than I thought I could ever do. But again, that's growing in Christ. Yes. That's, actually allowing God to be the vessel for God to use, because we show up and He does it through us. It's not like I don't have to come up with the words. I just need to go where God told me to go, and He's going to speak for me. And that in itself gives you confidence, and it helps you get out your comfort zone, because you ain't got to do it. You just have to go, and God to do it through you. And that is just so amazing. So let me ask you a question. How long have you been doing this now? How long have you been doing it, and how long did you start your business?
I think it's been 8 years. I started 2015.
Wow.
Officially set up the LLC. And like I said, it was a trial. It was for me, I was stuck in the money for the job. This is really what it boiled down to. It was stable. But it was times where it was like, no, you need to go. You need to go. It was plenty of times that I would tell the customers, yeah, I'm leaving, and I'll be stuck again. But it built up to, so in that time frame, it was, I wanted to buy a house. Bought my house. It was stuff that I needed to do, which didn't allow me to leave the job yet. And then once all that was in place, then I was like, and then it was at that point, I guess God said, now you can go ahead. Now it's time to go. And that's really what it came down to. Because I think 2 years after I bought my house, I went ahead and left the job.
Wow.
So it was just to make sure everything was in place. I was at a good, good point, and I was finally able to. I think I actually shocked a lot of my customers because they were still trying to get me to stay. My boss's boss actually was trying to get me to stay. She had never met me, and they were, they were going to create a position that no longer existed because they were getting rid of the teller position. They were going to keep that position because they wanted me to stay. And I was just like, no, I need this time to go and all this stuff. And so it was just the fact that I actually made an impact there too. I'm just doing my job at the end of the day. But they were, even willing to do that. But I was like, no, I'm at the point, it's time to go. It's my time. And so then when I have gone back to visit them, and the customers that I've seen, they were like, well, how, they're so excited how things are going. I'm like, they're good. I'm happy. I'm doing, and so the benefit, just the benefits of that and all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
But the funniest thing about taking a leap and doing the thing that God's called us to do is that there are a lot of things that we learn on our journey, and there's a lot of jobs and skills that we have done on our jobs that actually crosses over into what we do in our business and our purpose. And some people don't realize that everything that they're doing for their jobs are transferable to what they can do in their business. Case in point, I used to be a paralegal for the legal department of Social Service. Said this last show. But anyway, my attorney used to say, oh, you can talk to that world-renowned doctor about this case. So you can interview them. And so now I got to a point where I can talk to anybody. I mean, if the president, having to show up and like, well, how long, Mr. President? How long, Madam Mrs. Vice President? I could have a conversation because I've talked to other important people, important people to, other people, but that skill is transferable to here. So if I can talk to these noted doctors, as they like the expert in the country, if I can talk to them, I can talk to regular people. And those skills I met on my job. I acquired those skills on my job. So when I came here, all I had to do was use those same skills into my business and my purpose in ministry. And people just, oh, well, I don't know how to do this. Like, what did you do on your job? And look at how transferable it is doing it for your business.
Exactly. It is. It's like we don't see it then at that moment until we're doing it. It's just like, oh, it was very beneficial. It's a stepping stone.
Yes. And then that's the thing I believe people get stuck on. They trying to go from A to Z without going through all the other letters.
Right.
And you can't skip steps. In any process, you must take each step and you must complete it before you go to the next step. Yeah. So what were some of the steps that you had to take to get from where you were to this vision and this introduction to the thing that was giving you joy and making a difference to where you are now?
For me, it was probably learning the process of how to run the business, to do actually the work that needed to be done for the business, like creating designs and all that stuff. I never learned how to do graphic design. So I had to sit and teach myself how to use the different softwares, how to use the different equipment. And, then what forms or whatever I needed to run for the business and stuff like that. So it was all those processes that I had to take the time out to do prior to being like, okay, here you go, here's your item. Because if I'm going to give you something that I didn't know how to do in the first place, you're not going to want to come back. You're not going to refer if I give you something that's not going to work out. So before I even offer a product for me, I will test it out probably 5 or 6, 7 times or whatever before I feel it's perfect. Because like even that tumbler I showed you, I think that was my second tumbler I ever did, the Libra one for me.
Wow.
And once I started posting that I could do them, and people were like, oh, I want one. I'm like, hold on. We're not ready, because I'm not that person. Because do I want the money? Yes, but that's not all it's about for me. I want to give you something that I know is going to last. You're going to genuinely be happy about it. And if I give you something that doesn't look good in the first place, why would you want to, why would you want to tell someone? Why would you want to come back?
So that just goes back to recognizing we have to we have to have value, and we have to have good character, and we need to have good standards, because everything that we do is a reflection of us. Right. And because it is a reflection of us, we want to give a good perspective, so if we don't present ourselves well, we don't present our services and our products well, then we're not going to show up in the world the way we want to. And exactly. So that is really good that you learned that. And again, that's because of who you are and the value system that you have and the quality person that you have about who you are. And that is really wonderful, because there's a lot of people that are going to do some sloppy stuff. Like they just throw it together like, oh, no. And it's almost like you have to have a conversation with the person. Like when I first met you and had that first conversation with you after seeing your ad on Facebook, I was like, I saw your stuff on Facebook. But after I met you and had a conversation with you, like, hey, I need you. I know there's other people that can do some of the stuff you do, but it was you that sold me on using your services and your
because I think we talked for like an hour or whatever. We talked this for a while, then we talked in general, and it was amazing. Is you can't have that level with everyone. And like I said, for me, even no matter what customer I take on, I'm asking them, what are you looking forward to? And, what are you looking for? Like, I do branding for people. Or if you're reselling, what's it for? Like, and I'll tell you the different types of material, the different methods, the garments, it's a whole process. And it's just not like, okay, you just need this or something. Here you go. Okay. I wouldn't want no one to do that for me.
But you know what? Now that you opened that up, what are all the services? First, give me the complete name of your business and all the service you provide. Just give us the rundown.
So the name of the business is Dreamers Imaging. I can't even tell you how I came about that name, but I loved it. I offer embroidery, DTF transfers, which is a printing method. Actually, the shirt that I have on is by that method. I have a sublimation printer, which allows me to do promotional items and garments as well. Glass etching. So like decanter sets, I've etched plates, just so you can have fancy stuff in your house. Mimosa sets, stuff like that. And with each different method, it allows me to customize and personalize so many items. The sublimation method allows me to do mugs, flasks, keychains, puzzles, like you name it. It's a lot. In embroidery, I can do personalized blankets, hats, towels. So and this is why I have so many methods, because everyone has its pros and its drawbacks. Like I can't use embroidery to do a cup. So I need the different methods. I could have just stopped and said, "Oh, I'm just doing focus on embroidery." No, because then I'm shorting myself on the market.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've taken the time to learn all of them, and it's still other stuff I want to learn how to do, like actual screen printing. That's my next.
Wow.
So I'm always growing.
Wow. Now let me ask you this: I know you got a lot of support from your family and friends. What is it that they're saying about you? Like, are they like amazed at all that you do and all that you create? Is it like, what are they saying? Like, that's my daughter, that's my friend, that's my sister, that's my mom.
They are.
What is it?
They are. What's funny is, so as long as I've been doing the business, my mom has never seen me actually do the work, even though she's received plenty of it. So when I had that big order for B360 was the first time she actually had the opportunity to see how things went. And she was like, oh, okay, this is cool. She had a blast. So now every time I get an order, she goes, we got an order, what we working on now or whatever. And I'm like, oh, you want to come do it? And, it's just the fact that it's always, they're always talking about, like, my mom walks around, has a magnet of my business info on the side of her car. I don't have a magnet. What's funny is the magnet that she has on her car right now was meant for me. She saw it and said, oh, I want that. Here you go. And it's just like, here you go. And my grandmother was the same way when she was here. The minute I would make myself a new hoodie or whatever, Well, I don't have one of those. Okay, Obi. Next thing I know, I'm going in the house. Next time I saw her, here you go. So, it was just those little things. Like, I didn't automatically always make stuff for them, or they didn't know how the process was. And it was just always been there, like my embroidery machine. I got that. It was me and my grandmother. We were talking for a while, and we were looking at one together. But the one she was looking at wasn't going to do hats, so I bought the commercial one. But then I thought about, I was like, I don't know how to sew. I don't know how to set this thing up. So I was like, oh me, hey, can you come over? When it was time, and we figured it out. We got it up and rolled. And I actually have a video of the first time we ran it. It's just like, oh, and I can just hear my grandmother in the background, just so excited. The machine wasn't gonna be at her house or nothing. It was at mine. It was just a genuine. She was just happy for me. It was just the excitement all around, no matter what. And most of my family and friends are like that. Even for like when I announced my son's business, the outpour of love from everyone, not even my close circle, but just like my Facebook friends in general. It was like people I probably didn't talk to a while. The one guy, he printed the flyer out and he posted up at his job. And it was just like stuff like that. It doesn't even have to be your inner circle all the time. It's people are generally watching like how you are, your character and all that stuff. And so it's just always, for me, it's just always amazing to see that.
Wow. Now let me ask you a question. You said you talk to other people that do similar things to you. How do you encourage other people who have the desire to do some of the things you do? How do you help them to know that they can? How do you help them to know that it's worth putting their energy and time into this passion that they have?
So I haven't talked to someone that hasn't at least started buying, buying the products to do it. A lot of times they've probably bought something. Like one guy, he was interested in getting into it. And he was like, well, what's a good heat press that will work? And I was like, I told him, well, my press was $1,500. So I'm like, you probably don't want to start necessarily there. But I've taken the time where I've looked at other products. I've researched, I've looked at the reviews for them. Like, here, this is what I think will work. And it's still going to have the same, aspects of what mine does without the cost, because you don't need to spend that much going in. Because I think when I started, I probably started with $500, my initial, stuff. And it's all about really just taking the time to do it. And like, I've had people where they've started the process. They've been like, well, what do you think of this? How can I? And we can discuss it. And I've actually trained some people that have wanted to learn how to start. I think I've done it. I've done it at least 3 or 4 times. And I told them, I said, look, I know I talk fast and I know I'm not a big talker, but I can show you better than I can tell you. So, and then I let them do the hands-on, and I'm like, this way I can correct what needs to be done. And so it's been cool just doing that.
But you know how valuable that is. There are so many people who want to do things that they see somebody else doing, but the people won't help them. They won't give them guidance. They won't like, no, you're going to take my customers, ain't going to be enough for us, both. And so that is just a testament unto your character and the values and qualities you have as a person, because if we would just share.
I've never thought that gatekeeping was the way to go, because you're blocking someone else's blessings and you're blocking your own that way. So like, I'm working with 2 people right now that the one guy, he prints DTF transfers that I do the same way I do. And we have talked, and I was like, well, look, times that I can't do it, I'm going to refer them to you. Like, and it's the one girl, she prints shirts, whatever, so she uses me for her DTF prints. But me and her both had the same mindset. We're all going to eat. Like, I'm not going to, like, it's times me and her will post the same thing. If she get it, cool. If I get it, cool. I'm like, it's not a competition for me. It's plenty of people out here for all of us. That customer that you get might not have been meant for me.
Right.
And it's just, that's always been my thought process. It's like, we're all going to get something.
But you know what? Actually recognizing that you don't have to be greedy You don't have to be selfish. You don't have to be self-promoting without and exclude other people. That's how the blessings come. They
That's
say
right.
whatever you want, you have to sow it into other people so you can reap the harvest in your own life. If you want more customers for this, then like you said, if you can't do it, refer it to someone else. And it's like the blessings are going to flow, and you just got to make sure you don't ever get self-centered and selfish, because selfishness and self-centeredness is a dismal life. I mean, it is just no fun, no joy, no happiness in a life like that. And so I'm just really excited. And you said you really not a talker, but you did good, girl. You did really good. But isn't it easy to talk about what you love? Isn't it easy to talk about something that you enjoy? That is just so amazing. And I'm just saying, like, you just, God is just going to bless you abundantly. And when you get more blessings, you're just going to be a bigger blessing to more people. And just keep doing what you're doing. And like one of the things that one of the services I now provide is helping people monetize their gift, talents, and ability. Because that's like the first step every person have to get to. Like, oh no, that's too much to charge. They're not going to pay that. But when we recognize that the things that we're giving and the things that we're providing is as valuable as the things we buy from other people, then we can ascribe the right price or even our price. Because many times we just do it for free and they try to bless us. Oh, no, I didn't do it for that. No, keep that. No, you keep that. So that's one of the things. But just, keep doing what you're doing. And keep letting the Lord use you, and just sharing the light of the Lord with the people that you service and the people that you're around. It has just been really amazing. And now, you got to get the book written. That's one of the things I help them with too. I help them write their nonfiction books about their journey in life. And you got to tell the story, because some people, they're looking at like, I would like to do something in my life. I've always been interested in this, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know anybody that does it. And then they'll pick up your book and say, oh my goodness, she's doing what I want to do. Oh my goodness, let me call her. She got a website on here. She got a page. Oh, let me go ahead and reach out to her. She seemed like, she's helping other people. She'll help me. And people need to know the journey, and they need to know that they can take the journey and they don't have to take it alone. I know the steps on writing a book. I know the steps on how to do this, that, and the other. So let me help you. And just like everybody, you got some people that are bougie and they pay high prices for everything. You got some people, they all about, somebody's label, and they'll spend high prices at. You know what? My prices is for the everyday person. They got plenty of people that can spend all that money and have that emptiness. No, it's all about the experience that people are going to have with me when I share what I do with them. And that's what you do. You're not just giving them skills, ability, and know-how. You're actually sharing yourself, and you're sharing your journey. So consider one day allowing me to help you write that book on your journey. You don't have to wait till you get your first million to do it. You can do it before then, because it's going to help you get your first million. Because you'll be a better blessing to the kingdom of God and everywhere you go. So I just want to thank you for, giving me the time to share with you, and you share with me.
Thank you for having me.
And I hope it wasn't painful. I hope it wasn't.
It wasn't. I actually enjoyed myself.
Well, one of the things that I want to say is I want you to share your contact information, your website, your anything you want to share that people can reach out to you and just share it now.
Okay. My website is dreamersimaging.com, DreamerSimaging.com. It's so long. And Dreamers Imaging goes for my Facebook and for my Instagram as well. I try to make it as simple as possible. You can find me always by just putting Dreamers imagery.
That is awesome. Well, I just want God to continue to bless you, and I'm looking forward to getting some more products from you. Like I had these big ticketed items that came out. Like I'm getting my Sister Circle Spanish book done in audio now, so that's one of the projects that's coming out. And I'm just I'm ready to do all the things I need to do, and also there is a business school, the Christian business school that I started attending. They give a scholarship so you can learn how to do different things. And I would like to share that information with you because you would really do well in this. And it's just been a blessing to me and thousands and thousands of other Christian business owners. So I definitely want to share that information with you. But I thank you for, sharing your blessings, sharing your lessons, sharing your gift, talents, and ability. And I know that God is going to even bring you before more great people so that you can continue to share your blessing. So continue to do what you do and just know that God is well pleased with you. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.
Right. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. This is Cheryle T. Ricks. And I have been through so many amazing things in my life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the hard, the easy, the joyful, and the sad. And as life, go from day to day, we find ourselves in some difficult places mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically at times. And I just wanted to get on this video and share some encouragement, the kind of encouragement that I was given so that I could keep going through the trials of life and actually enjoy the journey. I wrote this book called Rest in God, How to Keep Living When Life Get Hard. And I wanted to share an excerpt of it with you. I'll start with the preface, which is the Cheryle T. Ricks Story Part 2, and it reads as follows. As I mentioned in my first book, Sister Circle, The Power of Sisterhood, A Guide to Becoming the Woman God Designed You to Be, life can be very difficult, and those difficulties do a work in us like nothing else can. In the first part of my life, I survived domestic violence, a mental health breakdown, and no self-esteem. In the second part of my life, I discovered my purpose, which is the greatest discovery a person can make. When we learn what we are created to do, we get on a road called destiny and purpose. That road is not a journey for the faint of hearts. When we step out on faith and pursue the dream and passion that God has put in our hearts, we will face trials, tribulations, and challenges that will make us question whether we're doing the right thing. On my road to destiny and purpose, I faced the foreclosure of my home, being diagnosed with skin cancer and breast cancer, being sued by a debt collector, and bankruptcy. But God made the worst part of my life the best part of my life. God gave me a true village. During that most difficult time, I learned how many people in my life truly loved and cared about me. It was amazing to see how much love, support, encouragement, assistance, resources, help, hope, and enjoyment my family, friends, and even strangers gave me during the seemingly darkest time of my life. I continued to live my life in spite of what I was going through. I decided not to make my circumstances my life. I resolved to keep enjoying my life and the people and things I always had. I reminded myself how blessed I was and how awesome my life still was, even though I had these situations. I took everything to God and allowed Him to walk me through those challenges like He'd done for every other problem I faced in my life. I trusted His unconditional love for me and the promises in His Word. I held on to my faith in God, who I was in Him, and the plan He had for my life. I believed He would bring me through everything I was going through, and I was going to be the better for having gone through it, and I was. You see, faith, love, and hope make life and everything else possible. Without these three things, a joy-filled and satisfying life is not obtainable. But more importantly, we must receive the true love of God, keep our faith in Him, and hold on to the hope that God created us for much more than we can see in our current situation. God's word ensures us that God is able to bring us through. But Jesus looked at them and said to them, with men, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. Life is full of many ups and downs, trials and tribulations. When our lives are up, we're happy, but when our lives are down, we're unhappy and depressed. I have been going through hardship, difficulty, heartache, and pain my whole life. In my early years, my situations dictated whether I was going to be happy or whether I was going to be sad, whether I was going to enjoy my life or whether I felt like my life wasn't worth living. In my middle years, I learned that there was a way to go through life and have a choice about how my problems, circumstances, or situations would affect how I enjoyed my life. Today, in spite of having breast cancer and losing one of my breasts, going through months of treatment for skin cancer, the foreclosure of my home, being sued, and filing bankruptcy, I have managed to live my best life yet. The purpose of this book is to show you how you too can live your life while living through some of the most difficult situations a person can face. My faith in God, His love, His word, His hope, and His promises have allowed me to keep living, loving, and serving my way to my most enjoyable life so far. No one likes heartache and suffering. However, if you're going through a difficult time right now in your life, I can guarantee 4 things. 1, you are uncomfortable. 2, it's painful in some way. 3, you're resisting what the situation is creating in you. And 4, you're missing the blessing in the midst of your difficult situation. When we are going through painful places, we don't realize that they're changing us from the inside out. They are also preparing us for blessings that are too amazing to believe. So come with me on a journey to discover how to enjoy your life while facing the most challenging times of your life. If you can relate to any of those things, this would be a great book to read for encouragement and hope. You can get it at any bookstore, Barnes & Nobles, iTunes, Amazon, any bookstore at all. It has the paperback copy and it also has the ebook copy. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach out to me by email at CherylRicks2759@gmail.com. CherylRicks2759@gmail.com. I would love to share with you and hear from you, and we can find out ways that we can be a blessing to each other. So until the next video, keep your head up. God is able to help you no matter what's going on in your life. Your dreams are still possible. The goals that you set are still reachable. You just need to have faith in God to make it happen. Take care.